Hi! I try and watch 100 films a year. That is what I did in 2016, and I dug through the whole list and tried to figure out what my favorites were. This isn't always based on like, this was the best film ever. It's just stuff that I enjoyed the most. Usually this list includes lots of older films, but this year I went to the cinema loads and lots of the stuff I saw I absolutely adored. So I think 9 out of 10 films on this list actually came out in 2016. This is in no particular order, by the way, but the first film I'm going to mention is Moana. I am not a giant Disney fan, of course. I have my own favorites like Mulan and Tarzan, but I knew I wanted to go see this film. One of the reasons was that Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote Hamilton, did the songs for this film. I really loved this film. I don't think it's my favorite Disney film ever, but the songs stuck with me for a very long time and I still listen to it. It was a nice breath of fresh air that there was no romantic interest, and also had such a nice cheerful ending and it felt so vibrant. The next one, I think I've just put all the like animated and kids films first, is Kubo and the Two Strings. I've already discussed this on my channel. Also, because all these films are so recent, I won't be discussing the plot of them really, but in the description of this video you'll find all the names of the films and I'll put all the trailers in as well so you can have a look. This film was very sad. I cried a lot. Like a lot. It's also terrifying. It's beautifully made. It is the sort of stop motion hand animated, I don't know what it's called, and it is just so beautifully done. Sometimes you just know a film is good because it just looks beautiful and it makes you feel many things, and that was the case for this one. Next we've got 2 films with girl in the title. Let's see if you can guess them. Number 1 is The Girl on the Train. I hadn't read the book, so I actually went into this film not knowing anything. I love Emily Blunt. If you love Gone Girl, then Girl on the Train's gonna be great. It was a really good cinematic experience as well. I don't have a lot to say about this film, but more it's just like, this one is a perfect one to watch in the cinema because then you just sort of leave going, yes, this was a roller coaster ride and I really enjoyed it. Up next, the other girl film was The Girl with All the Gifts. I've been looking forward to that quite a lot. I went to a lovely screening where the sound was really loud, which was good. I love zombie films in general. I read the book for this after I saw the film and it even made me love it more. I thought all the actors did an amazing job. I thought it was really suspenseful, but also like really gross. I had to look away quite a lot. There were some bits at the end that I thought were a little bit strange, but in general thought this was really good. I feel like not that many people in my environment saw this one. Next up, High Rise. That was quite a film. Oh wow. I saw this at a very small screening and I've heard people say that like people in their cinema walked out or they loved it. I kind of feel like this film, like I felt about The Lobster, which was probably one of my favorite films of 2015, where it's like, it's kind of gross and you want to look away and it's really violent, but it's so intriguing. I loved a lot of the stylistic choices they made in this. It had something kind of Gatsby-like, where you're like in the middle of it and you want to see everything, but you want to look away. I've read the book as well. I thought it was a really interesting adaptation of the book. Also, there's this like ABBA remix with a string quartet. It's an absolutely insane film, but it has really stayed with me. I kind of want to watch it again to see how I feel about it a second time. If you haven't watched it again, I'd recommend it, but you need a strong stomach. The next one is a weird one because I sort of went to watch it on a whim and then I really enjoyed it, and then when I was making my list I was like, oh yeah, I think this should go on my list, but I feel like it's a weird one to put on the list. Anyways, it is 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was so into the film when I was watching it. It's so outlandish, but I thought the acting was really good. As an audience member, you're constantly trying to figure out like who is the unreliable person in the situation and what's really going on, and you don't really know what kind of film it is until the film ends. And it was actually like pretty much my kind of film. If you somehow missed this one, do watch the trailer, but maybe not watch all of it. The next one's not gonna come as a surprise, and it is Arrival. I love Amy Adams. I love aliens. I love films that have like a global disaster and looks at how countries work together or not work together. It's got linguistics. It's got some other stuff that I don't really want to reveal in case you haven't seen it yet. It basically is like the perfect recipe for a film for me. I loved the experience while I was in it. Then when I left, I had some criticisms. I had some questions. But still, I thought it was like an amazing piece of cinema and I would go see it again. I just checked. I think it's still in cinemas. Maybe I'll go see it again. On to another book to movie adaptation, which I think technically didn't come out until 2017 here, but I saw it in 2016, so I'm gonna count it. And it is A Monster Calls. It's absolutely beautiful. It is touching. If you haven't read it, I would recommend it. And I think the film managed to capture it so well. It integrated the illustration part into the rest of the story in a really interesting way. And I think if you like the animations of the Tale of the Three Brothers in the 7th Harry Potter film, this kind of reminded me of it, and I really enjoyed that kind of storytelling within storytelling. Felicity Jones is in it, who I love, and it actually has an amazing cast. I cried for like a solid half hour. It was not pretty. I haven't seen it since, but I bet if I saw it again I would cry some more. And I think this is pretty much all you could want from a book to movie adaptation. I think it captured the spirit of the book. It is interesting, people are saying that it's like, is it a kids film? Not really. Is it a film for adults? Not really. It kind of falls in the weird in between. Okay, last two films. The Edge of 17 was one that I saw at a screening that my friend Lex hosted. It's one of the few on this list that are actually like fun films and not super melodramatic or really sad and disturbing. This I thought was like such a perfect teen movie. Most of the actors in it actually looked like they were teenagers. I laughed so much. I thought it was just really nice and not too over the top. It's interesting because it's about friendship and grief and lots of different things bundled together and like growing up and being an idiot, but mostly very fun. And then I figured I would save the one that wasn't out in 2016 as the last one, which was Crimson Peak. It is my second Tom Hiddleston film in this list, apparently. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, who has done so much stuff that I love. I recently rewatched Pan's Labyrinth. Yes. Oh man, he knows creepy. He knows creepy, he knows gory. This had a lovely, I guess, Victorian setting, but it was also, oh, it was so terrifying. I don't know how to describe the vibe of it other than like just macabre and dark. Alright, I hope that made sense. If you haven't seen any of these films, do check them out. Links will be in the description. If you're subscribed to my channel but you miss updates in your sub box from time to time, you can head to my channel page and there's a little bell you can click and then you'll get notifications whenever I post a new video. That is all from me for now. If you had a favorite film or 10 favorite films that you watched in 2016, do let me know in the comments. That was it for me. I'll talk to you guys later. Doei!